Thanks for tuning into the channel, and today we're going to be talking about Turo and why you see some Turo hosts leave the platform. And what I want to do is give you some useful tips that can help you prevent from having to leave the platform because you're not making profit. But before we get into it, I'm going to ask for a huge favor. Smash that like button, leave some comments down below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'm also going to leave in the description a link of everything I use for my Turo fleet, and also the Business Chase Inc. card. It's all going to be in the description below. Check out those links and check it out, because this could be useful for your fleet or if you're considering coming onto Turo. So don't forget to do that. Now let's get into it. A lot of people, when they do Turo, they want to cut corners, especially if you already started and you've been booking your car a lot. A lot of people just get really comfortable and they don't do everything like they did in the beginning. I suggest not to do that. Read the terms of service and really follow it. I understand a lot of times when we get into stuff like a cell phone or you're buying a car, a lot of people, we don't read the contract. We don't really read what we're getting into, and that could really hurt you, especially when you're doing Turo, because the worst thing that can happen to you is your vehicle gets damaged, you didn't follow the rules, and now you don't get paid out. And that could be hundreds to thousands of dollars, and you could really find yourself disappointed with Turo, but it really was on you because you didn't follow the terms of service. Now, one of the things that's very important is taking a ton of pictures. I do it every time. When I go and take the car out for a guest that's gonna go on a trip, I take about 40 pictures. It's not fun, but it's important to do. Also, when the car comes back, even if I do a walk around, I don't capture any damage, I still take a ton of pictures. I always do that because I wanna cover myself. The worst thing I could do from being lazy is miss a damage and not be able to get paid out. So my biggest recommendation is don't get lazy on the pictures. Read the terms of service. Very, very important. Moving on from the terms of service is growing too quickly. A lot of individuals, they start Turo, they start making money, and they get excited, and they basically overnight will grow their fleet basically from 1 car to 10. They'll grow really quickly, and sometimes they're not really doing the research. You could be buying cars that don't hold their value, and that could be a big issue. What do I do to check the values on cars? I use CarMax website, I use Auto Trader, and I use Kaylee Book. Now, some of you may be wondering, what do you mean you use the CarMax website? What I like to do is, let's say, for example, I'm thinking about getting a Toyota Corolla. I like to go on the CarMax website just to see what they're selling them for. I'll go on Auto Trader just to see what they're selling them for. And then Kaylee Book, I like just to see what the trade-in value is. Now, Kaylee Book, I don't love it because a lot of dealerships don't go by Kaylee Book, but it gives me a ballpark. The reason I do this is that then I'm going to check that car. I'm going to see how much it goes for new. And I'm going to see how much is depreciated from new to used. And that's how I learn what cars hold their value and do not. And from my experience doing that, I know like Hondas, for example, have strong resale values. Toyotas, and there's others. And then I know that I've seen cars take big hits like BMWs and think like and other cars like that. So if I'm thinking about getting a car for the platform, I don't want to buy a car that's known to take huge hits, because then when it comes to retire that car, that I'm going to get rid of it, or it's in a total loss and Toro's going to pay me out, they're going to pay me what it's worth. And if it's taking a huge hit, I might end up negative and may not be making a profit. So do your research on the cars that you're buying. Also pace yourself. Don't try to grow overnight. If you grow too quickly, you might find yourself in a bad situation when it comes financially. Because if these cars don't do well, you're on the hook for all those cars. So I see a lot of people try to grow too quickly, and the biggest reasons a lot of businesses fail, or even if you want to call this a side hustle, is lack of finances. So if you're buying a car, make sure you make enough money to cover that car payment with your current income, because that car that you're buying, even if it's new or even if it's paid off, right? You can buy a brand new car and it can have an issue where it goes into the shop, they're backed up, and it takes them a while, and you may have to pay that monthly payment for that 1 month or maybe longer. Or you may have a cash car, something goes wrong and you have to take it to the shop to get repaired. It could take a month, it could take longer, and now you're on the hook for the payment on the finance car. If it's a cash car, you may just then be on the hook for the insurance and things like that that you have to pay to have that car on the road. So at the end of the day, there's always going to be a cost associated. Whatever the cost is for you, you want to make sure you have that money by either your income that you have coming in or at least a savings. If you're doing this and you might say, well, I don't have enough income, will at least have the savings. Have one or the other. If you can have both, even better. Don't do this without any savings. Now, if you're saying, well, I really want to do Turo, that's good. You know that you want to do it. Now let's plan for it. So start working, if you can, overtime, or try to pick up another side hustle. There's plenty of other side hustles. If you want, leave comments down below. I can go over them. And build up a savings so when you start doing Turo, you have some financial backing in your bank account. So very important, because again, don't try to grow too quickly. Try to grow at a pace where you can keep up and you're going to be successful. So don't try to grow overnight. That's a big tip that I can give. Also, when it comes to buying cars, buy cars that you can handle. And don't get, some people, they just want to grow so quickly that I just really want to make this a big point in the video is that they fail, because I see it. Also, use the Turo website. That's my biggest tool. I love going on the Turo website and using it for cars. Whatever area you live in, you can go on Turo and you can see the cars that you're thinking about putting on the platform, how they're doing, how many there are in the area, what's the going rate on the car. You can go on their profile. You can see how their profile is set up, if they offer deliveries, if they don't. You can see how many trips they have. You can read their comments to see if they're recent comments, and you can click on the calendar for the current month and see lines through the numbers. If you see that they have a lot of trips, you see that they have recent comments, and you see lines through the calendar, that's a pretty good indicator that they're active and that they're currently booking their vehicles. And you could count those little lines and kind of get an idea, like an estimate. Oh, okay, if I buy this Corolla, it looks like the going rate is $40 for this current month for this car, and it's renting about 10 times a month. You could do the math and get an idea what this car can generate. Now, this is not foolproof, because sometimes those lines could just mean that the car's not available because it's in service, but these are just things that can help you. If you click on a lot of profiles, like I would do, these lines tend to usually mean that the car's actually booked if you're seeing recent comments and things like that. So use Turo. It's a great tool. Check out those profiles. That's going to help you better than going on Google and reading articles. So remember, don't grow too quickly. Make sure you can afford the car payments if you're financing. Get some money in your bank account and follow the terms of services. Now, if you haven't done Turo, or even if you are currently doing Turo, I did put a link in the description of everything I use and the Chase Business Inc. card. If you're thinking about doing LLC, it could be a useful tool. Please consider subscribing, smash the like button, and don't forget to leave some comments. Thanks for watching.